Okay. Добре, добър вечер. Luigi, can you please stop the sharing just
Yeah,
for a
sure.
while so we can be all right. Okay. Добре, добър вечер на всички. Аз се казвам Димитър Александров и съм представител на Агенция за образование в чужбина Skyways. Бих искал да ви благодаря за това, че се присъединявате към днешният вебинар на Твенте, на университетът Твенте. Всъщност днес имаме удоволствието Луиджи Етиен да ни разкаже малко повече за университета, за програмите, които предлага, за изискванията за прием и така нататък. Всичко, което би ви интересувало като кандидат студенти. Като моята колега Ивелина Минчева ще помага за а, Q&A сесията, която ще бъде накрая на самата презентация. Това, което бих ви помолил е, ако може да задавате по време на презентацията си въпросите в чат секцията. Ето тук, а, за да може колегата да ги чете и накрая да ги представи всичките на Луиджи и да бъде по-лесна самата комуникация. А, Всъщност, да, ето тук сега Ивелина написа. А, Нашата роля, освен да организираме такъв тип събития, е, разбира се, и да помагаме на кандидат-студентите в целия процес по подборна програма, подготовка на документи и всичко, което е необходимо, за да бъдете успешни кандидат-студенти. Така че след като свърши презентацията, в следващите няколко дни ние ще ви изпратиме по имейл с доста полезна информация, която ще ви бъде необходима за кандидатстването. Вие можете, естествено, да се свържете след това по имейл или по телефоните, които ще ви оставим, за да ви съдействаме, ако имате нужда от допълнителна информация. Сега ще дам думата на Луиджи, за да може да ви разкаже повече за университета. Well, Luigi, it's your turn now.
There. Thank you very much, Dimitar. Thank you to everyone for being here today. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna share my screen. There. Perfect. So thank you very much to everyone for taking the time and being here today. First off, my name is Luis Etienne. I work as an international relations and communication officer at the University of Twente. And the idea of today is to talk to you a little bit about the university, studying with us, our study programs, to give you a better idea of the university, what we offer, and how we can support you in your academic and professional wishes. So, without further ado, I would like to start. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about why students prefer the University of Twente. We'll talk a little bit about Enschede and the Netherlands, bachelor options, masters that can follow your bachelor's, campus life, also talking a little bit about your future career, and a little bit about events and other ways to get in touch with us. So let's start first with talking a little bit about why students prefer the University of Twente. These are comments that we have gotten from actual students, from conversations with students where we ask them why did they choose the University of Twente, or why are they happy with their choice at the University of Twente. One of them is that it's a leading STEM university with cutting-edge research. We are a technological university with a great focus on STEM and IT, and we also have one faculty of behavioral management where we offer other programs like business, for example. But the most of our portfolio is STEM and IT related programs. Another comment was students who wanted to study in a modern and vibrant campus. We are the only all-in campus in the Netherlands, campus like the ones from the US, where everything is within one place. It's very green as well. Next to that, the small-scale personalized education. Education at the University of Twente is quite personalized. Groups are smaller, and that also supports the relationship between students, but also student teacher, where teachers know their students by name, by first name. Next, hands-on experience through project-based learning. One important thing about the University of Twente is that our education is pretty much all project-based. What does that mean? Later on, we're gonna see a slide that describes a little bit more in terms of percentages, how your time is going to be distributed. But one important thing to know is that the year is divided into modules, and each module revolves around a project. So you're going to be implementing all the theory that you will get in classes, you will implement it immediately in projects. Next to that, entrepreneurship, opportunities to turn ideas into impact. The University of Twente has been named for several years in a row the most entrepreneurial university in the Netherlands. And how do we do this? We support our students who have ideas that they want to turn into businesses. And because of that, we have a whole structure to support these ideas. We have a business incubator on campus, and students can work on those ideas. So a lot of business have come out of the University of Twente. For example, Booking.com is a company that was born at the University of Twente. It's a university that is very much focused on supporting students with this. And of course, the high-tech human touch. What do we mean with high-tech human touch? All of the research that takes place at the University of Twente is research that is very much focused on having a real impact on society. So these are some of the things that we have that students have mentioned to us about why they choose the University of Twente, or why are they still happy with their choice of the University of Twente. Now, talking a little bit about the Netherlands, as you know, the Netherlands is located here in Europe. We are, well, there are several rankings that rank countries by different topics. We have been ranked the 14th safest country in the world, the fifth country with the most happy people by the Happy Index, the 2024 Happy Index. And one interesting thing is that it's a relatively young country as well, with a 25% of people between the ages of 20 and 39. Now, why choose the Netherlands as a study destination? There are several reasons that can be highlighted here to talk about why the Netherlands is a good study destination. A few of those are, for example, English taught programs and international classrooms. The Netherlands is the #1 non-English speaking country in the world with the highest level of English. And at the same time is one of the top non-English speaking countries in the world with the most English taught bachelor's and master's programs. So this is definitely a plus. You know that you will come here and you can study in English. You don't have to study in Dutch. You can study directly in English. But also the fact that you will have international classrooms. The Netherlands is a country that is very well known for historically being a merchant country, and that makes them because of that, they have always been in contact with other cultures. And you can see that not only in the classrooms, but you can see that in the streets as well. It's a very multicultural place. So you will be learning in English in international classrooms where you will have colleagues from all over the world. Next to that, it's a safe, multicultural, and welcoming environment. And this links perfectly with what we said before. The country has always been in contact with other cultures, and that has made it a very multicultural place and very welcoming place. It's a country that is pretty much accustomed to dealing with other cultures and being welcoming to those other cultures. Next to that, we have the affordability of our programs. Our education in the Netherlands is comparable to the education, or it is at the same level as the education in places like the UK or the US, but our programs are more affordable. The prices are different in the Netherlands than in the UK or the US. Of course, the excellent career opportunities in tech and engineering, because since the country is considered the gateway to Europe, as it says below, and because of this, and this is because the country is very well connected through air, sea, and land. And because of this, a lot of companies have established their headquarters here in the Netherlands. A lot of big companies, a lot of tech companies as well, have established their headquarters here in the Netherlands. And that translates into opportunities for students. So when you finish your studies, you know that there are great opportunities for finding a job in the Netherlands, for example, especially in the areas of engineering, STEM, and IT related programs. Now, the Dutch education system. In the Netherlands, there are two types of universities, and it is very interesting to talk about this because it's not common in every country. So to give you an idea of how the education system works in the Netherlands, we have two types of universities. We have applied sciences universities and research universities. In our case, the University of Twente, we are a research university. Now, the academic path at an applied sciences university is you have your bachelor's. A bachelor's is usually 3 to 4 years, most of the times 4 years. Then from there, you can go to a master's, a 1 or 2 year master's. Now, on the contrary, in research universities, the bachelor's are always 3 year programs. Then you can go to a master's, and the master's can be 1 or 2 year, a 1 or 2 year program. And after that, you can do your PhD, of course, a 4 years program. And after that, you can do your postdoc and other programs. So you can follow the full academic track when you go to a research university. When you go to an applied sciences university, of course, you cannot do a PhD because a PhD is research and it's not a research university. But for students who started in an applied sciences university and later on decided that they wanted to follow the academic track, they wanted to study a master's, a PhD, etc., there is a way to move from one type of university to the other. So students are not stuck in one type of university. And how is this? They can follow a pre-master's to prepare them for the what is missing from their education, the research part and other topics. So they can follow a pre-master's, and with the pre-master's, they can jump from an applied sciences university to a research university. Now, in this part, I would like to explain something else. We are, as I mentioned before, a research university, but we are a research university of technology. Technology is the core of our education. In the Netherlands, there are 4 research universities of technology. It's a consortium called the 4TU, and we are part of this consortium. Why is it different from one or the other type of universities? Because we are somewhere in the middle. So we are still a research university, and research is at the core of what we do at the University of Twente. But in a lot of ways, we also have an approach to education very much similar to an applied sciences university. So we combine our research background with hands-on type of education, with a lot of project work and those type of things. And this is very important because then you know that it's not going to, when you come to the University of Twente, it's not going to be just big lecture rooms and a lot of theory, and that's it. You're gonna be working on a lot of projects. As I mentioned in the beginning, every module revolves around a project. So you're going to have your lectures, but then after your lectures, you're immediately working on either an individual project or a group project, and you have this type of construct here at the University of Twente. That's basically, it's quite similar for all of the four technological universities in the country. So we are kind of combining the traditional research university style with the applied sciences style as well. Also having smaller groups, smaller classrooms to promote this type of interaction as well. And of course, you can find any program you're interested in studying in the Netherlands. You can find them on the Study in the Netherlands website. There you can search and you will find what is available in every university in the Netherlands. One important thing to know is that even when the university has a similar program or a program with the same name, just to mention an example, for example, mechanical engineering, each each university would have a different approach to mechanical engineering. So in that case, when you are looking for a program or when you find a program that you're interested in and you find it in several universities, my recommendation is always to go through the program, go through the curriculum, and find out which one of those programs is best suited for you or for what you're looking for. Student life in Enschede. Of course, when people talk about the Netherlands, they usually talk about Amsterdam, of course, The Hague, the bigger cities, the cities that are more popular. But what about a city like Enschede? Enschede is a university city. And because of that, even though it is a rather small city, with 160,000 people in total. It's also a student city with a student population of approximately 30,000 students because you have students from the University of Twente, you have students from Saxion, which is a applied sciences university that is also located here in Enschede. You have students from a conservatorium, an art school, and a vocational school. So this is quite a city with quite some movement, with quite some life to it. It's a student city, and there's always something happening for students here in Enschede. Now, next to that, it is a city where it is very much affordable to live as a student. It's a If you compare to other cities, like for example Amsterdam or the bigger cities, it is way more affordable to live in Enschede, and it is definitely a city that has a lot of green. It is a city where you're going to feel like you're in a city, but you are going to be in contact with a lot of greenery as well. And that reflects on our campus. I mentioned before we are the only campus university in the Netherlands, and I mentioned before that it is a very green campus as well. Um, the campus of the University of Twente is a 1.5 square kilometer campus, and everything is contained within that campus, and it is a very green campus as well. Then next to that, the connection in the city itself and also from the city to campus, etc., is very well structured. There are bike lanes everywhere. It's very easy to move around in Enschede, get to campus and all of that. Next to that, we have as well the strong tech ecosystem and startup opportunities. I mentioned that the university supports students who are interested in having a business, who have a business idea. And because of that, next to the campus, we have an area called the Park of Knowledge. And in the Park of Knowledge, those are all startups that were born from the University of Twente. And that also supports the building of this strong tech ecosystem and those startup opportunities here in Enschede. Now, the balanced lifestyle in a vibrant city, as I mentioned before, it's a rather smaller city with a lot of greenery and all of that, but also a very vibrant student city with a lot happening all the time in terms of events, entertainment, etc. And it has one of the cheapest accommodations in the Netherlands as well. Now, now some details about the university. I mentioned before. I mentioned before the campus, for example, but some insights into the campus and the university itself. We have 19 bachelor's programs. We have 37 master's programs. Of this, 98% of both are English taught programs. We have students from all around the world, more than 75 nationalities. In total, we have around 12,363 students, bachelor's and master's students on campus. We have created more than 1,200 startups as well. And on campus, we have more than 130 student associations based on anything, any interest that you might have, based on sports, based on hobbies. There are different types of associations per nationality as well. So we have a lot of uh, different student associations on campus for students to join and to have also some other entertainment next to their studies at the university. Now, talking a little bit about the bachelor's programs offered at the university, this is a list of our bachelor's programs. As you can see, most of them, or the biggest amount of programs, are STEM and IT related programs. But at the same time, we do offer other programs like international business administration, for example, that or a program in psychology, communication sciences, because we do have a faculty of social sciences and behavioral management. But most of our programs or most of our portfolio is STEM and IT related. And here you see what are those STEM and IT related programs. Now, next, I mentioned already the modules, for example. Next, I would like to show you there it is, how does the 1 year at a bachelor's programs or a master's programs at the University of Twente looks like. So you have different modules. Each module, as I said before, is it revolves around a project. That's where you are going to start implementing everything that you have learned in, for example, your your lectures. And then you will have also, as it's listed there, you have the thematic models, but you also have elective specializations are only for the masters, but you have also the electives. You are going to start choosing, making some choices for your program. Now, does that distribution that I keep talking about look like? This is more or less how your study week will look like. You'll have a 20% of your time allocated to lectures. Then next to that, you will have a 25% of your time allocated to tutorials or maybe additional supporting lessons that you will have for the different topics. You will have 30% of your time allocated to project work. And of course, you also have a certain percentage that is allocated to self-study. This is more or less the distribution that you will have in a week and how how you would distribute your time in order to be able to follow through with everything. One important thing to mention is that for our bachelor's programs, the first year is a very important year. I usually get questions about can I work while I study and those type of things. And yes, you can. You can definitely work while you study. But one important thing that you need to take into account, or a recommendation, let's say, that I always make to students is not to start working from the first year. Why? Because the first year is a very important one. At the end of the first year, students are going to be evaluated and they are going to receive a recommendation. This recommendation is binding. What does that mean? If you do not acquire at least 75% of your credits of the first year, then you receive a negative recommendation, which means that you cannot continue with that study program. You can choose a different one, but you cannot continue with that study program. If you, at the end of the year, get a positive advice, then there's no problem. You can continue with your program, and that's perfectly fine. And why do I always advise to students to not work the first year? Because that first year, there's a lot going on for you. You're getting used to this new way of time management and time distribution. You're studying abroad, you are away from your family, you're getting used to a new place, a new city, etc. There's a lot going on during the first year. So I always recommend to students to focus on their studies for the first year, make sure that you get the necessary credits in order to pass to the second year. And then for during the second year, you can start working. That's not a problem. Um, it's also not to scare you off. So do not think or do not feel like, oh, you are not going to get a positive recommendation. So far, our students most of the times do get a positive recommendation. So that's also not to scare you off, but it is something that's important to mention so that you are aware that you will get evaluated at the end of the first year, and it's very important for you to have at least 75% of your credit. So it's very important for you to focus on your studies during the first year. Now, the university, as you know, is a research university. So there are specific research domains in which the university focuses their all of the research that happens. We have health, safety, climate, and chip technology. Now, talking a little bit about campus life. This that you have on your screens at the moment is a rendered photo of the campus of the University of Twente. I mentioned before it's a very green campus. I also mentioned it's 1.5 square kilometers and that everything is contained within the campus. And this is the campus of the University of Twente. This is where everything happens, education, research. There's housing on campus, there's a business incubator, but there's a lot of other facilities as well. We do have a hotel, a supermarket, a job agency, sports facilities. You have a hairdresser. You have a lot of different things on campus for the students' convenience. Next to that, as I said before, we also have a lot of different associations. You can join sports, you can join musical associations. There's a lot going on campus, and everything happens within this space that you see on your screen here. We have at the moment a little bit more than 3,000 student houses and apartments on campus. It's the only all-in campus in the Netherlands. Usually universities are distributed around the city. In our case, we are an American-style campus with everything contained in one place. And here you have a little bit more information about the how big the campus is. I mentioned before 1.5 square kilometers. You have the campus, the area of the campus covers approximately 146 acres, which is the equivalent of 200 football fields. Now, the facilities. We've mentioned the facilities before. We at the University of Twente, the university is very much focused on offering top-notch research facilities. We are a research university in the end. So for us, it's very important that our students and our staff have the best research facilities in order to produce this research that they're going to be working on. It's again an international and diverse community. We mentioned it before about the Netherlands, but about the University of Twente in itself, it's a diverse community with students from all over the world. You are going to be studying with, you could be studying with next to someone from the Netherlands, but at the same time next to someone from India. You can have a colleague from any of the Latin American countries or the Asian countries. You're going to be studying with a lot of different people from different parts of the world, which is very important for us at the university, for you to have that international or intercultural interaction when you are studying, because it is part of the experience of studying at the University of Twente. And last but not least, sports and culture. There is a lot going on in terms of sports and culture. The university is very much focused on the students' well-being. And part of the students' well-being is making sure that the student has options to do other things next to their studies. So join a sports association, join a cultural association, do what you like, discover what are the things that you like and try them out. That's something that's very important for your well-being as a student, and that's something that the university is very much focused on providing for you. Now, I mentioned before students coming from different nationalities and all of that, but one thing I did not mention is how many international students we have. We have more than 12,000 students, of which 35% of those are international students coming from all over the world. Now, sorry. We have the sports and cultural associations, but we also have many country or regional specific associations. So it's also possible to join an association for your country or to join an association for a certain region. And last but not least, we try to support our students in the first months getting used to the new environment and making the arrival a soft landing. And how do we do this? We do this through specific programs that we have already created. One is a buddy program in which you get a buddy who will accompany you for those first months and will help you in getting used to everything and learning where everything is. So then you have that first contact person, or even better, that first friend who can help you out with those things, those confusing things in the first few months. But next to that, we also have the kick-in. What is the kick-in? The kick-in is the introductory event for students at the University of Twente. So you will your class will start in September, and on the second half of August we have the kick-in. And during the kick-in, it's definitely a recommended event to attend. It's not mandatory, but it's highly recommended, because the kick-in is an event that is organized by students for students, and it's an event where you will attend different events. You will have social events, you will have academic events, you will have events to support you with formalities. We will, during the kick-in, you will get help in terms of getting the first appliances for your new home here in Enschede. You will get support for registering at the municipality, but you can also join or try out associations. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of festivals. There's a lot going on for students. And most students, the feedback that we have gotten from most students is that they find their first friends during the kick-in. So then when they start classes, they are no longer alone. They already know people and they already have a small friends group to get started with. And of course, we also have a pickup service for students that is organized every year. So whenever you are in that stage of your admission, just have a look at the website. You will find the different dates and from where the pickup service works and all of that. Next to the association, there are associations, sorry, there are of course several student teams. These teams are teams that work together on specific projects. For example, we have the solar team Twente, which is a team that works on a solar car that actually goes to competitions around the world and for several years have become the champion of those competitions. We have the solar boat team as well, and we have the drone team as well. So depending on where your interest lies, there are different student teams that you could join and you could actually work on different projects next to your studies. Now, in terms of housing, housing is a very interesting topic. We get that question a lot. Of course, people usually say, I've heard that housing is complicated in the Netherlands, that it's very difficult to find housing. And something that I always tell people is it's not a nationwide situation. There is indeed a situation with housing, but it varies from city to city. The case of Enschede, Enschede is a city where we haven't had issues with our students finding housing. It's easier to find housing in Enschede. One important thing that I should point out here is that it is easier than in other cities, but it doesn't make it easy. So when the time comes to find housing, I always recommend start looking for housing around April, May, and then you will for sure find something. That it's almost a fact. You will find something. It might take time, but you will find something. But you need to start looking for housing early. Now, as you can see here on the screen, Enschede has been named the best city for housing. Housing in Enschede can vary greatly. You can have prices as low as in the 100s, 200s. If you're sharing with a lot of different people, there are apartments here, big apartments, relatively big apartments that are shared with uh, 10, 12 students, but you also have the option of having, for example, a studio, which could go a very independent studio that could go up until 800, 900. So there is a very broad range of prices, but on average, on housing, you will be spending and you can find something around 450 euros, more or less. Now, regarding your future career. So after your studies, what happens after your studies and how do you get to that point, to the after my studies point? Do I get support from the university, etc.? Well, there is, of course, a whole structure in place at the university. Now, you will get career counseling at the university. We have career counselors who can help you with counseling for entering the labor market, etc. You will get different types of trainings in career development as well. When it's time to look for internships, we do have internship officials, internship counselors as well, who can help you when you're searching for your internship. The student has to look for the internship. Very important to mention this. The internships are not given. The student has to search for the internships, but we have people who support you in that search. If you cannot find something, you can go to them. If they know about something, they will let you know, those type of things. And we also plan other things like company visits, etc. So you will have a lot of support from the university. As you can see here, it says you have access to a worldwide community with over 60,000 alumni, which is accurate. But next to having access to that community, you also get to be in contact with that community. So the alumni office also organize events focused on bringing alumni and students together so that they can also provide information, can also provide insights, they can support you. Or if one of those alumni also has a company and their company is looking for someone for internships, for jobs, they can also provide that type of support. So this is a very important point as well as a student. And talking about alumni, we have more than 63,000 alumni across the world. And these are some of the countries where we have alumni. So we have students from alumni from China, Indonesia, India, Germany, USA, and other parts of the world. I mentioned before, as as an international university, we are very much focused on the internationalization of your studies and for you to have that experience. And because of that, we have alumni all over the world. Talking about admission requirements. Now, admission requirements are specific per country and program. So we're not going to dive into each program, what are the specific admission requirements for each program. But on our website, you'll find a list with the programs and what are the admission requirements per program. One important thing is that because of the nature of our programs, maths and physics are usually a requirement for most programs. Math for sure, physics depends on the program, but math is definitely a relevant topic for our programs. And next to that, you have the English requirements because we are an international university and our education is fully in English. So there is an English requirement that you will need to comply with in order to be able to apply to one of the programs. You have the IELTS of 6.0 as an overall, and a minimum of 5.5 per section. Then you have the option of doing a TOEFL with a minimum score of 80 and 18 per section, or you have the option of going for a Cambridge exam, which can be Cambridge Advanced or Proficiency, both with a 169 and 162 per section. And starting this year, we have a fourth exam, which is the Pearson's. So those are the four exams that you can apply with. Important to mention because I have gotten that question several times already in different events, different countries, etc. I know that there are universities who accept Duolingo. We do not. Unfortunately, we only accept these four exams. So you would have to take one of these, and with the necessary scores, you can indeed apply for one of our bachelor's programs. Now, let's talk finances. So tuition fee for European students, as you know, is lower. It's subsidized by the European Union. So for European students, the tuition fees are 2,695 euros. And of course, to that, you have to add the cost of living. We usually estimate the cost of living, or try, let's say, to estimate the cost of living per year. And for this year, we estimate that it could be between 14,000 to 16,000 per year. That's how much it would cost to live in Enschede. That includes housing, that includes transportation, it includes, for example, books, or also your food and the regular things that you will need while living here. So around 14 to 16,000 euros is the cost of living, or at least that's how we estimated it for this year. Now, talking about application, how does the application process go? Application opens every year on the 1st of October. So if you're looking to start next year in 2026, September 2026, application has already opened. It opened on the 1st of October, and you have until the 1st of July to finish your application. After the 1st of July, you still have until the 1st of September for us to have the certified copies of your diploma. Important to mention here that there are certain documents without which you can start and even finish your application. And there are other documents that are needed from the very beginning in order to be able to continue with your application. So if we're talking about the English requirement, that's a requirement that you need to have from day one. You need to have an English requirement. It's one of the basic requirements that are going to be asked, and without it, you cannot continue the application. Same for the specific subjects required per program. You need to have certain basic subjects in order to be able to continue with your application. The diploma, on the other hand, is not one of those requirements. The diploma is a requirement that you can submit after your admission to the university, but we need to have your diploma in hand before the 1st of September. So we need to have the certified copies of your diploma already with us. You can start the application before graduating. It could be that you graduate in June or something like that, and then you get your diploma, of course. You can start your application in October and even finish your application, but we need to have your diploma before the 1st of September. And last but not least, psychology, our program in psychology is what we call here in the Netherlands a numerus fixus program. And what does that mean? Numerus fixus is a program that has a limit in the amount of students that we can admit to it. For the rest of our programs, there's no limit. So for the rest of our programs, as long as you have the requirements that are listed on the website, you are admissible to the program, and there's no problem with that, except for psychology. If you are interested in studying psychology, there is a limit in the amount of students that we can admit each year. And if we have that amount or less, then everybody gets a spot, and that's no issue. If we have more applications than the limit that we have, then there is a selection process in which the admissions office will get in touch with you and communicate to you what's the process. You will have certain tests that you will have to perform, and then afterwards you will learn if you were admitted or not to the program. Because of the selection process, the deadline for the psychology program is earlier than others. It's the 15th of January. This is how the application process looks like. So you start your application in a national platform called StudyLink. You go to StudyLink, you create an account there, you select the program, the universities, etc. From StudyLink, you're going to be redirected to Osiris. Osiris is the platform of the university itself. And there is where your application continues. That's where you are going to submit your documents, for example. All of that information that you need to upload, you're going to do that here in Osiris. After that, your application will go to when you finally submit your application, it will go to our admissions office. They will evaluate your application. Evaluate your application means they're going to look at all of the requirements and make sure that you fulfill all of the requirements, that you have submitted all of the documents and everything. And after that, they will come back to you. There are three options here. You can either be conditionally admitted, you can be admitted, or your application can be rejected. If you're conditionally admitted, it means that with the information that you have provided us, we could admit you to the program, but you're missing, for example, the diploma. So then when you submit the diploma, then you get the final admission. But you can get the conditional admission in the meantime. That already says, with the information that you have submitted, you are admitted to the program under the condition that you have to send this information. So if you're admitted, you will get the admission offer from the university. Starting this year, you do not have to accept the offer of admission, you will just receive an offer of admission, and as soon as you continue with the rest of the process, then we understand that you are interested in continuing with, in applying at the university. So you don't have to actually click on accept. That has changed this year. As long as you get the admission, then you're safe. And that's where the rest of the process starts. The payments, for example, of those things, you have to do that during this period from the between the 1st of July and the 1st of September. The admission office is going to be in touch with you, asking you for information or different documents or things that you need to provide. You have to submit this, of course, and then your enrollment is final. You will get the statement of enrollment, and after that, you can join the university. And of course, as I said before, ideally, you join the kick-in first, and then you start your classes. We said before that a lot of students usually ask about working while studying, and it is possible to work while you study. One important thing is keep in mind that this is a full-time program. So, of course, there's going to be a lot of time management going on, but it is possible to work while you study. As a European student, you don't need a separate work permit in order to do this. You can get a part-time job around 10 to 16 hours per week. Usually students go for areas like hospitality, retail, or for example, being a university ambassador. So, or getting a job within the university as a student assistant, for example. So those are possibilities that you have as a student. Next to that, one thing that we have realized is that your classmates will become lifelong friends. And the university organizes several social events, as I mentioned before. For us, it's very important for the students to focus not only on their studies, of course, their studies are the most important part, but also to focus on their well-being. And part of that well-being is the social life that you're going to have here at the university, the friends that you are going to make here at the university. And because of that, there are several student associations. We do have study associations, which are associations from your study program, and we have student associations, which are associations by students depending on the topic. It could be depending on any interest that you might have. And there are a lot of student support initiatives. So focusing on well-being is not only about the social part, but it's also having a whole structure in place to support you with your needs. We have academic advisors to whom you can go for advice if you're having academic issues academically. You have the student counselors. You have different apps for support within campus. You have community building sessions. There are several options, of course, for well-being as well. And last but not least, I would like to share with you some of the events that are coming up. Of course, our on-campus open days have passed, but on the 19th of November, we have the online version. Then in March, we will have the on-campus open days again. You can always apply for other initiatives. Like if you're here in the Netherlands, for example, you would like to be a student for a day and follow lessons and see how it is to study here at the University of Twente, you can do that. If you're around and you want to plan, for example, for a campus tour, you can also reach out to us and we can plan a campus tour for you so that you can come and visit the campus of the university and see how it is and what's your future home going to look like. So there's a lot of different options to get in touch with us, to get support from us. We are our partner in Bulgaria is Skylines. So you can always reach out to them and they can support you in every step of the application process. They can provide you with guidance, all of the guidance that you might need. And of course, they are in direct contact with me as well. So whenever, if there's something that they cannot answer, which I highly doubt because Evelina and the rest of the team is very knowledgeable about everything University of Twente. But if there's anything that they cannot answer, they are in contact, in direct contact with me, and they can always reach out and I can try to get the answer for them. So anything you need, any questions, our team at Skylines is there to support you with that. So this brings us to the end of today's presentation. Thank you very much to all of you for being here, for the attention. And yeah, thank you very much, Evelina. I don't know if there are any questions for us at the moment.
Okay, Luigi, thank you very much for the presentation. The questions actually came more and more at the end of the presentation. To some of them I answered. We can briefly go through the one that I answered from the beginning and then focus on the final questions. So there was a question from Nikolai. What is the situation with the housing? I've heard that the universities in the Netherlands do not have dorms. What is the market rate to rent a room in Twente and how hard it is to find such? I think you answered that question.
Yeah.
In any case,
But
yeah.
still, I'm going to add something. One thing that he mentioned is actually true. We do universities in the Netherlands do not have dorms, and that is because universities in the Netherlands are not allowed to own housing. It is considered a conflict of interest. So we do not own housing, but a housing is offered through a third party, and we do have housing on campus. So in our case, you will find housing on campus, but you can also live in the city center of Enschede, which is the city where we're located. And we are located, yes, in Enschede, but in the border between Enschede and Hengelo. So you can also find housing in Hengelo. And it's the same time to go from the city center of Enschede to the campus than from the city center of Hengelo to the campus. It's around 15 minutes by bike. So yes, it is true. We do not own housing. We cannot own housing, but we do have housing on campus. And you mentioned about the rates. I think he said rates for getting housing. In our case, particularly the University of Twente, so far we have never had the situation of students who did not find housing in the end. So our students always find housing. We always recommend to students to, of course, you have to look for your housing, yes, but also the register for RoomSpot, which is the platform, the university platform, let's say. And when we're closer to the end, if there are people in RoomSpot, for example, who have not found housing, then they are added also to a certain type of priority list where the university itself tries to find housing for those people. So it's very important to know that there are certain things in place for that. But we, the University of Twente, so far, we are very happy to say that we haven't had issues with students not finding housing.
Thank you. Very, very good information about that, the last one. There were other questions. If a bachelor degree from a research university gives the possibility to continue for a master outside of the Netherlands, to which I answered yes. Everywhere, it all depends on the relevance of the bachelor degree compared to the master's degree that you will be applying afterwards.
Exactly.
So no restrictions, other restrictions as if they're accredited and they allow access to a master degree everywhere in the world.
Yes, exactly.
We also mentioned in the chat that the webinar recording and the presentation itself, and we'll also try to copy the chat, will be sent to everyone who has registered for the event with all the links. And what else? Sorry, there was a question from Adrian, who said that he recently submitted an application via Studielink, but didn't quite orientate how to enter the Osiris system, to which I answered that he must look for an email. And I think he has found it because he said that it's okay.
Okay.
The question was how to pay the application fee and how to proceed with the application.
Okay.
But this is an automatic process. So once
Yeah.
you apply through Studielink, you really have to keep track on your email and monitor all the folders, because an important email might end up in the junk, spam, promotional folders. So it's really important.
Yes, that's very important to mention. So thank you for mentioning that. A lot of the processes that will come with your application, sometimes they have tight deadlines. And so if you know that you are in this process and that, you know, something's going to happen, or you should be receiving some communication, make sure to always check your spam folder, because it might be that the email went to your spam, then you never saw it. And the thing with these processes is that there might be a process in which you can reach out and say, hey, I didn't see the email, and we can try to do something. But in most cases, we cannot, because if the deadline passed, it passed. So please keep an eye out for your spam folder while you're in this in the middle of this process.
Yeah, and while we're on the topic, I would like to add that not only the application, but even if you admit it, most of the problems have a supplementary matching procedure, which is
Yes.
something you need to do in addition to being already admitted. And there are strict deadlines, and if you miss it, it could be a problem. You are
Yes.
admitted, but then you miss the matching procedure. But I won't dig into details because each program has a different matching procedure and deadline.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, there was a question from Ralica. Is the price for housing per month 450 euro per month every month? So this is the price given in the room spot, I think.
Yeah. So that price, the 450 that you saw there, it's an average that we made. So you can find a lot of different prices. So I don't have a way of saying this is how much you're going to pay. So we used the information about the different information about housing available, and we made an average. And on average, students are paying around most students are paying around 450, but it doesn't mean that every student pays 450. So you can find housing as cheap as 200, 100 something, but of course that is a room, that is an apartment that you're sharing with 12 people, for example. And you can find housing as expensive as 800, 900. But on average, if we have to make an average of all of that broad spectrum of prices, on average, housing can be around 450, 500.
Yeah, and I actually sent the link in the chat, which is for the monthly cost for, it's like, it's a research done
Yeah.
among the students, and they make the average sum for everything, for the rent, for the bicycle, for the food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to the topic about entry requirements depending on the diploma. I'm not going to dive in details, but there was a question with regards to students who are completing American college or school in Bulgaria or abroad. And some of them are, if in Bulgaria, some of them are graduating with both the Bulgarian diploma and the US high school diploma.
Okay.
Some others are going to graduate only with the US high school diploma. And the question was, do we need to have AP exams? To which I answered, and I would like to make it very clear, that if you have a US high school diploma only and no other secondary qualification, you must have AP exams.
Yeah.
Depending on the program you are applying, there are subject requirements.
Yeah.
But only with a very US high school diploma, it's not possible to enter Twente University.
Exactly. If you if they're graduating with the US diploma and the Bulgarian, then they have options because they can say, okay, I apply with the regular Bulgarian diploma requirements, or I use my APs and I apply with my APs, and that's perfectly fine. But if they're graduating with a US diploma, the US diploma in itself does not grant the admission. You need to have the APs. And then depending on the program, there are specific APs that you will need.
And I also, because the question was from, I think it was Adrian, for mechanical engineering, and I'm just looking at the AP requirements. It should be 4 AP College Board exams with the score each of 3, 4, or 5, and absolutely obligatory to have an AP Calculus BC to meet the mathematics requirements, and also physics, 3 options. And that's it for the moment, but I also send the link in the chat so that everybody could check, depending on the program, the AP requirements. Yeah. Okay, shall I continue? I lost track of the questions already. Okay, Tanya was asking, should the initial grades that we include in the admission be only up to 11th grade? Actually, you have no other option, by the way. When you take your transcript from school, if it is a Bulgarian curriculum, take it from grades 9, 10, 11, include in grade 12 only the subjects with the hours, the teaching hours. And if Twente considers necessary, they will ask you for your first grade transcript, first term of 12th grade.
Yeah.
But you have no other option. You don't wait until you have completed 12 grades. You have to apply with what you have at the moment. And the admissions office at Twente is very flexible. They can ask you for an additional document, but it's important that you have completed the procedure. And things can be like, if necessary, requested and added later on.
Yeah.
If I can.
And that's something also that I like to mention always, like start your application as soon as possible. As Evelina said, you don't have to wait until you have completed the 12th grade. Start your application as soon as possible, because even though you're not competing for a spot like in the US or the UK, for example, you're not competing here. And as I said during the presentation, as long as you have the requirements, you are admissible for the program. At the same time, we try our best. It's not necessarily 100% personalized, but we try our best to make the application as personalized as possible, which means that, as Evelina said, if there's a document missing or something, we will reach out to you and we will ask you to submit the document. And this is important because sometimes those documents, if it's a legal document or something, sometimes it takes time to get those documents. So if you start your application in June, in May, in April, it might be that you don't get the document in time for the deadline. So start your application as soon as you can. And then if anything is missing along the way or anything needs to be corrected, you can be relaxed and you can do it without stress.
Yeah. I would like to make also to confirm to Angelica, returning to the topic for the APs, AP exam is required, not the AP subjects only themselves. So you have to have an exam with the college board. That's the requirement. Tuan Golubov is asking something that's very interesting. Is it possible to take the 21 plus exam, colloquium doctum, if my high school diploma is below VWO level I assume he has a British BTEC or any other way to get a VEV or the equivalent diploma. I did not complete high school with maths or physics, but I'm studying right now. So again,
Okay, hold on. I did not fully understand the question. So he wants to know. So he, again, sorry, again.
I can try to explain
Okay.
what I understood. Because we've had such students before, this colloquium doctum exam is actually concluded in Dutch. So usually this is for applicants who have completed the high school in the Netherlands that gives access to University of Applied Sciences. These
Yeah.
are vocational high schools.
Yeah.
So you cannot decide yourself to take this colloquium doctum. I've had such a case, but it's a very complicated case, and the university offered the student this opportunity. Anyway, regardless of what we said now, I would encourage you again to apply. As Luigi said, they assess individually each applicant. And if you're really missing those mathematics and physics required for the program you are interested in, if the university decides that there is a base to step on, they can offer, like they can make a condition for you to sit an extra exam, which is not the colloquium doctum. There are other exams held in English for the relevant level in physics and mathematics, to mention Boswell Beta, for example. But this is only if they consider appropriate for you to offer you this solution. You cannot randomly decide to do anything, because you might end up just taking an exam but not being accepted for the for your application. Am I correct?
Yes, because one important thing to mention about the colloquium doctum is that it's not necessarily, oh, the way the way it's looked here, it's not necessarily a diploma, it's an entrance exam. So it's not the colloquium doctum is not a diploma, so it doesn't replace your high school diploma or anything. It's an entry exam. So I agree with what you said. So I would definitely say go ahead and submit your application.
Yeah. Okay. For which years? If we have a Bulgarian diploma, from which years do the grades matter? It's a good question, though a little bit contradictory. So the Bulgarian diploma already, because of the changes, comprises only the last 2 years at high school. However, when you are applying at Twente University and provide transcripts before, of course, you have the diploma, please take the transcript from grade 9 until grade 12, because the university is also looking at hours of mathematics. So just in case, have the 9th and 10th grades included, and the university will decide which one to look upon. That's what I would recommend.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Does a Bulgarian diploma with excellent marks and maths and physics profile fulfill the requirements for math and physics? Yes, I would say so. It's important that the diploma is not from a vocational high school or professional high school, but an academic stream
Yes.
high school. But still, you can apply even with a professional or vocational high school. Iwan is asking, is the result from the Bulgarian language national exam taken into account when applying for, he's mentioning specific program, mechanical engineering? Can I reply to this one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so for example, each program, bachelor program at Twente, requires you to take a matura in mathematics. And the condition is from grade 3 to the maximum grade 6. So most important is that you have a matura in mathematics or physics, but the grade itself is not that crucial. Unless it is unsuccessful, of course. 3 is the minimum grade accepted. Is there like a cafeteria in the university for lunch?
Is there what? A cafeteria?
A cafeteria, yeah.
Yes, several actually.
Okay.
But yeah, we do have different a few cafes and cafeterias like university cafeterias on campus.
Okay. There's another question again from vocational school. Is a graduate from a vocational school in Bulgaria eligible to study in a research university? Well,
That's a bit broad, so it
yeah.
depends on the university. In our case, it's complicated.
Yeah.
In our case, it's not directly admissible. I would say to start, as Evelina said before, and let the university evaluate it. But I have to say, vocational institute,
Profile.
it's not directly admissible at the University of Twente. Again, this will depend on the university. I can only talk about the University of Twente.
Yeah, thank you. Peter is asking, would you give more information about applied mathematics? What type of fields can we work? Job perspectives. It will take time. I think the website can give this information more like thoroughly. Yeah.
So yes, and definitely go to the website. But to give you a very brief idea, applied mathematics is one of those programs that is included right now in what we call in the government in the Netherlands, sorry, the Beethoven project. What is that? Is the initiative of the Dutch government for positioning or maintaining the Netherlands' position in the chip and semiconductor area. And why do I mention this? Because if you're asking what can I do with a title in applied mathematics, you can definitely work in the areas of semiconductors. You can definitely work in the areas of computer sciences. There's a broad perspective that you can do with a program in applied mathematics. The website will definitely give you a little bit more details and say, okay, we have alumni working here, 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 and there. But talking about areas, for example, to give you an idea, there are several areas in which you can work with a title in applied mathematics.
Okay. I'm not sure if I understand correctly the next question. All the students, so Meglena is asking, if I understood correctly, all the students who apply and meet the formal requirements will be admitted independently if they applied in October or in February.
Yes, they will.
Okay.
And why I recommend October, because as I said before, depending on there's always something happening. It could be that you miss a document or that a document is not, I don't know, certified or something. Then you have time to actually work on getting the document right and submitting whatever you need. So that's why I recommend starting in October. But if you start in February and and you are admissible, you have all of the requirements and everything, you are equally admitted than someone who started in October.
Thank you. Yeah, the admission is on a rolling base. And once it is submitted, you should soon, like within several weeks, apply the outcome, expect the outcome. And if
Yes.
something is missing, you will be asked to provide it or to like clarify. Diane is asking, if I want to study mechanical engineering, but I haven't studied physics during the last 2 years of my education, can I take any internationally recognized physics exams to apply to the University of Twente? I think we
What was the beginning of the question? If they what?
for mechanical engineering,
Uh-huh.
but hasn't studied physics during the last 2 years at high
Okay.
school. So
So in that case, I would recommend, where is it? One second. Can I share a link in the
yeah, do you see the chat?
yes, now I see it. One second. Let me see if I can find it here. Because then if you don't have the here it is. If you don't have the required grade or the subject, for example, in this case, he said physics, right?
Yeah.
They can take a James Boswell exam.
Yeah.
And I don't have the chat. One second.
It's right.
No, it's yeah, I have two screens and it's under the one that is sharing. Well, I can share. Well, you also have the link, Evelina. You can share it with them. If you don't have the required subject, in this case, for example, mathematics or physics, as he mentioned, then they can supplement that physics level with the James Boswell exam.
Yeah, but I would like to add that it is important to apply as early as possible, even without the taking the James Boswell or whatever exam, because admissions evaluates your application and they can tell you the level of the missing, the level
Yes.
of the exam you need to take, because there are different levels. For example, mathematics A, B, physics, I've only seen B anyway.
Yeah.
And there are also requirements until for the deadline to provide this Boswell exam.
Yeah, and you have to take into account the university deadline, but then also the exam dates
Yes.
on the Boswell exam.
Yes, and you, of course, you can directly register and take the exam, but this is not certain that the university then will accept this exam. It depends on you and your desire to take this additional exam.
Yeah, it depends on what it is that you're missing. Because the Boswell is definitely what we use to supplement that information that need, but it depends on what is exactly is it that you're missing from the requirements.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that even if, because the question is if probably if I haven't applied, can I take this exam in advance? And I was trying to explain that if you can take it in advance, but it's not sure that it will be considered afterwards by the university. It depends on the individual evaluation of your application. Okay. Okay, are the AP exams supplementary in the same manner as James Boswell exam? Again, returning to the US high school diploma, if you only have a US high school diploma, AP exams, you're obliged to have the AP exams. This is not related to external exams like James Boswell, but this is the way they consider your secondary qualification.
Yes, so the APs are not supplementary. The APs are the requirement itself.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't have the necessary level of mathematics or physics, then you can supplement that with an exam like the James Boswell. But the APs are not supplementary. If you are coming from an American school with APs, APs are your requirement.
Yeah. Can bachelor students apply for student residence at the campus? From the website, I understood that not all the bachelor students are entitled to housing at the campus. This is a question from Meglena.
Yes, so the question is if bachelor students can apply for
For
housing on campus.
the residence
Yes,
on
they can apply for housing on campus. Um, I'm guessing what this person saw is that European students don't get the guaranteed housing offer, but they have to search for housing on their own. But then you can search for housing on the platforms for the companies who offer the housing on campus. And of course, you can also look for housing outside of campus. That's definitely not a problem. But yes, you can apply for housing on campus.
Yeah, there is user one who reminded me that I missed his question, but we don't know which program are you interested in. The question is, do I need to have a matura in maths, physics? But I can answer only that you have to have a matura in mathematics because
That's
it's
for sure. Yeah.
required for all programs.
Yeah.
And for physics, he added computer science. Let me just check. For computer science, according to what I see, technical computer science is the program.
Yeah.
No, physics is not required, only
No.
mathematics. Yeah. And then also Adrian added, because he was asking for AP exams, that he has both Bulgarian and US high school diploma. In that case, you can concentrate on your Bulgarian high school diploma and you don't necessarily need to take AP exams. But it depends on the type of profile and subjects that you cover in your last 2 years of the Bulgarian diploma.
Yeah. And in that case, one thing I would definitely mention here is you can always, for example, if you're unsure of the requirements that you have, that you need and what you have, etc., you can always reach out, for example, to Skylines for guidelines to evaluate your profile, and they would let you know, hey, with this, if you apply with this diploma, then you have the necessary requirements, or you definitely need to apply with this other diploma. So they can also evaluate your profile and let you know. And if they have any doubts about it, they can reach out to us.
Thank you for reminding this, Luigi. And also the question was again about if the grade matters for the Matura exam in mathematics. Not exactly, because it is accepted from grade 3 to grade 6. Most
Yes.
important is that you have the Matura and also a certain number of hours in mathematics in your curriculum. This is also the other important thing. Philip is asking, I'm currently in 10th grade and I haven't chosen my profile yet. Does it matter what I choose? I'm interested in electrical or mechanical engineering. Let me just see. I would say mathematics should be like for electrical, if physics and mathematics are required as Matura exams. I'm sorry, and I forgot what was the other program. Or mechanical engineering. Again, physics and mathematics. I would say, if possible, choose and study both physics, of course, and mathematics during your last 2 years. This would give you the best chances for entering. And Antoine is asking, I was told it is possible to transfer to University of Twente from another university in Europe. Has anyone done this from Technical University Sofia? I would do this if I'm not granted the additional Boswell exam because of my high school diploma. I'm not sure about transfer.
So with transfers, it is possible to do a transfer. One important thing that they need to take into account with transfer is that they will always start from year 1. So when you do the transfer, it's not that you are going to start from year 2 or year 3. You will start from year 1, and of course, we are going to evaluate the profile and what you follow, the subjects you followed the other university, and you are able to request, some exemptions for topics that you already followed, etc. There's a committee that's going to evaluate that and decide which exemptions are granted and which not. But you always start from year 1. But yes, it is possible to do a transfer.
But I want to add something because I suspect what is the reason for the question. If you have completed a vocational high school and then you have entered, for example, Technical University in Sofia, studied 1 year, and then apply at the University of Twente, talking about transfer is they have to evaluate you on the basis of each bachelor applicant. So they will again evaluate your high school education, and only if you are admitted and started your education at Twente, then they will check if they can exempt you from certain subjects. In other words, I think that again, the high school diploma is crucial in.
But then you said this is a student that is coming from a vocational high school. So with his high school diploma, he's not directly admissible.
I'm not sure because I lost track of the communication.
Okay,
But
okay.
if this is the reason for the question, I'm not very sure that the admission.
Because in that case, well, we used to have, sorry, we used to have the foundation year. But then starting this year, we no longer have a foundation year, but students who would normally have to follow a foundation year can actually follow 1 year at a university in their countries, a recognized and accredited university in their countries, and use that first year to apply to the bachelor's. But then in this case, it's not transfer. Then in this case, you're using the first year at your university in your country as the foundation year to be able to start at the university.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Nikolai is saying, I have taken AP Calculus BC with the Bulgarian with US high school diploma. If I apply for mechanical engineering, do I need to take 4 AP exams in total, or I need to choose from certain 4 AP exams? Really not sure what I can say at the moment. I need to check and read thoroughly the requirements for the APs for.
So if that the student, so what I understood is they took AP calculus, right?
Yeah.
And they are interested in mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineering. And the question is, do I need to take 4 AP exams in total, or I need to choose from certain 4 AP exams? 4 in
Okay.
total, but chosen from certain subjects. That's what I would say.
A combination. So having 4 APs is a requirement. The subjects, yes, you can choose the subjects, but then per topic, per subject, sorry, per program, sorry, there are specific topics that you need to have. Doesn't matter the others, but you need to have these topics. For example, in the case of mechanical engineering, the student will need the AP Calculus BC. That's a fact that has to be there.
Yeah.
And they need to have either AP Physics 1, which is algebra based, and AP Physics 2, or they would need to have AP Physics C, which is electricity and magnetism, or they would need to have AP Physics C, which is mechanics. So so they would need to have one of these options. So the combination of 1 and 2, or physics, electricity, and magnetism, or physics, mechanics. One of those 3 plus mathematics.
Yeah, I just posted that also in the chat. Did I miss a question? Yes, from Ivaneta. I'm currently in 11th grade and enrolled in a higher mathematics course by Sofia University. Can I use the certificate from this program instead of taking the Matura in 12th grade?
Again?
I'm not sure. If she is not taking mathematics Matura, the exam,
Yeah.
but she is studying a higher mathematics course at a university in Bulgaria.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Well, the Matura is necessary. The Matura is actually one of the basic requirements, so she will need the Matura.
Yeah, the question was, can I substitute instead of the Matura in mathematics to enclose the
No, the Matura is one of those requirements that are like when I mentioned before, like you have the basic requirements that you need to have that specific requirement from the very beginning of the application. Well, Matura is one of those.
Yeah. There. And maybe we'll give time for one final question. What
Yeah,
do you
sure.
think? Antoine is adding, I did see the foundation year was removed. Well,
Yeah.
very good. That you see, I mean, make it more complicated. So the first year in Technical University Sofia would be the foundation year, is the question again. Would
Yes.
1 year in a real university be better for applying than attempting to attain an HBO at the University of Applied Science?
Would a first year at he said a real university? What do you
Yeah,
mean
he
a
said
real
a real
university?
university, maybe like a little bit a joke, I think. But for example, if he has studied in, which is better, to study in a technical university in Bulgaria and then apply at Twente, having 1 year completed, or to study at the University of Applied Science in the Netherlands, 1 year.
Both are okay. Both are going to be evaluated. So it doesn't grant direct admission. It's going to be evaluated. I would say 1 year at a technical university in Bulgaria would serve because then you already have, there are things that you don't have at an applied sciences universities that you do have at a regular research university. So I would say if I had to choose one, I mean, both are acceptable. If I had to choose one, I would go with 1 year in Bulgaria, for example, 1 year in a university in your country. Just make sure it is a accredited and recognized university. So just make sure that you are applying with a university that is recognized by the government and everything is in order. And when you apply, you need to make sure to have the equivalent credit of 1 full year. So depending on how much the program normally lasts, then you need to have the equivalent of 1 full year of that program in order to be able to apply. So you have both options. You can do either one. I would say if you go for the technical university one, then I don't know if it's safer, but it is, you have certain things that are required. The research part, the technological part. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Luigi. And Antoine is thanking you too. Yeah, okay. No other questions I can see now. But I would like to say to everyone that you could ask questions, send us emails. You could expect us to email you the presentation and the recording and also the chat. We're here to help if you need one. And okay, what else can we add, Luigi?
Well, from my side, I just wanted to thank you all for taking the time, of course, of being here and for being so interested and asking all of those questions. So for me, it's very important to be able to support you in this process. So thank you very much for joining. But also thank you, Evelina, and the rest of the Skylines team for organizing this and being so patient. So thank you very much for staying with us and answering all those questions. And yeah, from my side, I have nothing else to add. As I said before, Skylines, they are our partners in Bulgaria, so they will support you with anything you need from questions, looking at your profile, and if they need to ask any questions to us, we are in direct contact, so
Yeah.
they will reach out and we can support.
So, thank you to Luigi. It was very clear, straightforward as usual. So I can see that the guys are also writing things. So I wish you all lovely evening and hope to see you soon, all of you, and you,
Yeah.
Luigi.
See you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.